We certainly are pleased to see the interest that comes this time of year at election time, and those people who are interested in what's happening in our government and in our community. And so I thank you, the participants, for being willing to serve, and I thank you, the members of the audience, to come and hear. The Leadership Rutherford and the Chamber of Commerce joined together as partners to put this on, and I thank all the people on the committee who did such a great job of planning and giving of themselves. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Pamela Deck and let her finish the welcome. And I thank her for telling me Tuesday night, I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm going to thank her for Tuesday night in the most gracious way that could ever be done. Clark, you need tablecloths on the tables. And so I thank you for the tablecloths.
Welcome. Welcome on behalf of Leadership Rutherford. My name is Pamela Deck. I'm chair of the Alumni Committee. We're glad that you come out tonight to meet the candidates. We want to thank Isothermal Community College for hosting the forum. Isn't this a great venue for us tonight? I also want to take a moment to thank the people who have been on the Meet the Candidates Forum committee. We've been working for a couple of months, meeting quite a bit, and we did this purely for the community. So first of all, the Leadership Rutherford Board, particularly the Alumni Committee, and I'd like for you to raise your hand if you're part of Leadership Rutherford or even a past graduate of Leadership Rutherford. And please let us know if you'd like to know more about that wonderful program. Also, Rutherford County Chamber Board of Directors, if you're with the Chamber and on the board, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. So one more thing I wanted to mention, Tuesday and tonight's Meet the Candidates is going to be recorded by the ICC Broadcast Production Technology, and you'll see the students here working hard tonight for us. This is under the direction of Carolyn Young. Is Carolyn here? She's here, okay. So look for this to run on Northland Cable later on, probably next week. And we'll also have links up on the Chamber of Commerce Facebook page and the Leadership Rutherford Facebook page. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening. Welcome. So glad to have you on our campus. My name is Thad Harrell. I will be your moderator tonight. This is your community college. We want you to make yourself at home, and we appreciate you coming out, getting involved in this process, learning more about our candidates, and just being interested in taking your time to come out and listen to them and help you decide which way you're going to vote in the election coming up. As for the process, we're going to follow this evening. Mr. Greg Whitmire, right here. Greg, if you'll wave. Greg is our timekeeper. Each candidate, we will bring the candidates up and we'll give them 2 minutes to do an opening remarks. And then I have a couple questions that have been given to me and also to the candidates prior to being here tonight. The Meet the Candidate Forum Committee, made up of folks, I think, from the Chamber and also Leadership Rutherford, devised these questions, and they've been sent out to the candidates. We're going to give them 3 minutes, each candidate 3 minutes to answer those questions. And then at the end, I'll bring the candidates back up and allow them to do closing remarks. Okay? We are thankful you're here, and with that, we will begin. First, tonight, we've got an additional candidate that we want to highlight. His name is Mr. Weiss. And Mr. Weiss, Mr. Jason Ray Weiss, he's going to come and give you 4 minutes. Excuse me. He's going to speak tonight for 4 minutes. So come on up, Mr. Weiss.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Leadership Rutherford and the Chamber of Commerce also. I got a little confused and didn't make it on the 16th. I thought I was scheduled for the 18th, so here I am. Running for sheriff, Jason Weiss. I'd like to start off saying, I'm not asking you to vote for me because I'm better than anyone else, but because I have a vision. Think about it. No one in this room is better than anyone else. You know, tonight as I traveled Doggett Road coming to this forum, I was stopped by the train. Imagine that. I don't travel Doggett Road much, okay? And as it had passed, an opportunity or responsibility presented itself. Imagine that. There was a truck stalled out on the other side, a line of cars behind them. So I had a responsibility, a response and an ability. What would I do? Would I turn around to help someone, or would I just keep passing by? Why am I talking about responsibility? Well, I'm talking about responsibility tonight because the voters of Rutherford County has a responsibility. Will we go into the ballot box and vote our heart? Or are we going to vote Democrat? Or are we going to vote Republican? Or are we going to vote for the people? What's your responsibility? To your party or to the people? When I go to the ballot box and I cast a vote, I vote for the best man, the best lady for the job in which I'm looking for. So, the sheriff's office. What does all this have to do with the sheriff's office? This election is not about Democrat or Republican. It's about doing the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. We have a responsibility. 2 minutes left. In my town, Henrietta, we're burying people. They're overdosing and dying. We have a responsibility to our community. You have a responsibility to your grandchildren. Will we try to clean our streets up, or are we just going to let it keep going? Yes, I could have brought a law book here tonight. They're about this thick with North Carolina general statutes in it. Yes, we may turn them loose before the deputy gets done doing his paperwork. That's not my decision to make. That's up to the magistrate and the judge. But I sleep good at night because I have a responsibility. I'm going to do the right thing when people are looking and when they're not looking. I'm Jason Ray Weiss, and I approve this message. Imagine that. Well, since I'm a Democrat candidate, I guess I'll throw one out there from Trump's thing. He said this about Henry McMasters. When your coach is in the game and he's winning, you keep your coach in the game. We're losing to an opioid epidemic. It's time to change the coach that's in the game. Please vote Jason Ray Weiss. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Now help me welcome to the stage candidates for Board of Education. District 1, Brandy, Edney Nanny, and Brent Washburn. Y'all come on up. Let's give them a hand as they come up. From District 2, Brandon Gosey and Theodore Leroy Kelly Jr. Y'all come on up. Let's give them a hand. From District 3, running unopposed, is Mr. Rick Ficklin. Y'all give Rick a hand, please. And I don't think I see Sherry Bright here tonight. She is also running unopposed. Mr. Ficklin has requested to just do the introductory comments for 2 minutes, and then he's going to come back and join you all out there, okay? So, Mr. Ficklin, you're up. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Thad. I want to thank the Chamber, Mr. Poole, and Leadership Rutherford. Thank y'all for having us tonight. I just wanted to take a few minutes just to introduce myself. If you may not know me, my name is Rick Ficklin, running for Board of Education in District 3. Lifelong resident of Rutherford County. I've, outside of the 4 years that I spent in college at Appalachian State University, where I met my wife. She's in the back there. She's got a prior commitment, so she's in the back, going to sneak out here in a few minutes. But Wilkes County native, and somehow I talked her into coming here to Rutherford County. Well, it wasn't a lot of talking because she had just graduated when we got married, and I had a job and she didn't. So it was kind of an easy decision there. We're proud parents of 2 kids. My son Tucker, Chase High graduate. He's 24. He is currently a communications director at Clayton King Ministries in Anderson, South Carolina. And my daughter Lindsay is a sophomore at Appalachian State University and an alumni of Leadership Rutherford, too, by the way. So, speaking of my wife, she's also in her 28th year of teaching in the Rutherford County school system. So you see, our house is, we believe in education and the value of education, and have instilled it in our kids, and have had a lot of dinner conversations over the years about education. I'm really proud of our school system and where it's at right now. I think the state has recognized the progress that we've made over the last few years. And I look forward to the opportunity to serve with board members as we move forward. I know even though you have good progress and good growth, there's always room for improvement. I think that's, and my time is up. But thank each of y'all for coming again tonight, and I look forward to listening to these two up here.
Thank you, Mr. Ficklin. Mr. Washburn, you have 2 minutes for your opening comments.
Thank you. My name is Brent Washburn. I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here tonight and address you. My wife, Sherry, I think is here somewhere. She is I won't tell you what year she graduated from East Rutherford High School because she won't be happy with me when I get home. But we have 4 children, 3 of which are graduates of Rutherford County schools. The last one's in the 8th grade this year, and so she's working hard toward that. And we have grandchildren, and we have, 2 at Pinnacle, 1 at RS Middle, and 2 at East Rutherford High School. So that is sort of the root of my interest in the schools. Also, I had the opportunity to serve for a few years on the Board of Commissioners, and I had a chance to work with the school system, and I enjoyed that, and so I wanted to get back in that. I had somebody ask me a few minutes ago, I thought we were finished with you. Brandy, they may be. I'm not sure. So 16 years ago, on probably this very spot, I had somebody ask me a question, and that question was this: what's more important, economic development or education? And at that point, I had spent a lot of time and energy studying economic development because we were in a bad economic situation here in the county, and people needed opportunities for employment and opportunities to work. What I know today is that you cannot have strong economic development without having a really strong educational system. I attended a meeting of the school board about 2 months ago, and the part of the meeting was David Sutton, Dr. David Sutton, presenting an update on the progress the schools have made as they work through their strategic plan. And I wish every one of you could see that. Rutherford County Schools' performance was absolutely head and shoulders above our competition. Didn't start out there in 2014, but every year since then, it has improved and gotten better and better, and it's just really an incredible presentation. Beginning this next year, Rutherford County Schools is going to begin another 5-year strategic plan. And so I'm interested in being a part of that strategic plan. I believe in Rutherford County Schools, and I'm a candidate for the District 1 seat because I want to participate in helping our schools continue the progress that they've made. Thank you.
Ms. Nanny, you have 2 minutes.
Hey everyone, welcome here. Thanks for coming out. My name is Brandy Edney Nanny, and I'm running as the Republican nominee for the District 1 seat for Board of Education. I was born and raised here in Rutherford County. I graduated from Chase High School. After high school, I went on to get my associates in paralegal and then my bachelor's in criminal justice. After college, I married the love of my life, Chris Nanny, and we are blessed with 3 kids and 2 dogs. I have twin daughters, Alyssa and Alexis, that are in 6th grade at RS Middle School. Unfortunately, they could not be here. Alexis has, she plays softball for the middle school, and they had the playoff game tonight. And also, they won, by the way, so they're going to make it to the championship. Wow. So, and Alyssa, she is in the Arts Council for Rutherford County, so they're practicing for that tonight. I also have a little boy, Channing, who's 2 years old. I work at King Law Offices as client service representative, and I sell real estate on the side. Growing up here in Rutherford County, I remember seeing signs every election year. I have always been interested in politics because I knew these people are the people who represent me. They make the decisions on my behalf. I also had a dream for my name to be on one of those signs one day. When the District 1 seat came open, I knew it was my time to make a difference, to be a voice for the Rutherford County people. I wanted to get involved and get invested for my community. And I'm so glad to see everybody here tonight that feels the same way. And I'm hoping I can generate more people to be involved as well and to have the interest in the school board. So I'd appreciate you coming out tonight.
So your candidates for District 2 are Brandon Gosey and Leroy Kelly. Mr. Kelly, you have 2 minutes. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm Theodore Kelly Jr., nicknamed Leroy. I'm married to Miss Cassandra Kelly, 2 sons, Tamiko Teron, 2 granddaughters, and also a daughter-in-law. So I just thank God for that. My most important thing about my life, I am a devout Christian. I believe without a shadow of doubt, Christianity is fading here in America. It's time for us to start putting Christians back in office. Time to start being real about who we are. And I thank God for Rutherford County because this is the school system I come up in. I come up in the public school. I believe in the public school. And guess what? I want to serve the public school. I realize I'm nothing but a servant here on a journey for the school system. I thank God for these children that we have in our school system. I've seen great things done in our school system in time past. I thank God for all the teachers that put up with our hard-headed children. So I'm a big advocate of Rutherford County schools, and I believe in what we got, and I believe that things can become even better. We're better, but I want to be better. I want to be better than better. So I would appreciate your vote on November the 6th, and unless you're going early, I sure would appreciate your vote. So consider me as your candidate.
Mr. Gosey.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Gosey. I am your current school board member for District Number 2, the East District, also running for re-election this term. I am a lifelong resident of Rutherford County. Went to school with Ellenboro, went to school with East Rutherford High School, graduated there with the class of 2000. 2000 graduate of East Rutherford, 2004 graduate of Western Carolina University with a double major in psychology and sociology. Thought I wanted to do social work. For about 3 months, I did that with Rutherford County DSS, and after the unfortunate first and second meth lab of going in and taking the kids, that was enough for me. We have our place for that, but that wasn't my calling. I lateral entered into education 14 years later, after 14 years of teaching here in Rutherford County, and then when I became elected to the school board, I moved to Cleveland County because I can't teach here due to being my position on the board. I teach at Burns High School currently. This is starting my 4th year there teaching special ed. I have a beautiful son named Jackson, handsome. He'd probably be offended if I called him beautiful. That I love to death. He's my best friend. My goal is just to continue to do what we've done for the last 4 years on the Rutherford County School Board, which is make great gains, wonderful improvements that statistics can prove day in and day out. And so on November 6th, I would appreciate your vote of confidence, and then as you go to the polls early, that you would do the same as well. Thank you guys for having us, and we're glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, candidates. Now, each of you are going to have 3 minutes for this question I'm about to ask, and I would ask that you just stay at the table. You will need to slide the mic in front of you so that everyone can hear. Mr. Washburn, the first question is going to go to you. Trade industries such as plumbing, electrical, and carpentry are seeing fewer and fewer skilled workers enter these professions. Coupled with the increase in housing starts, the need for a workforce possessing these skills has increased. As a member of the Board of Education, what will you do to promote education supporting the vocational and trade industries? Mr. Washburn.
Thank you, Thad. I'm also, in addition to being a realtor, I'm also a general contractor, and I can tell you that without question, this is a problem. I've got really 2 houses I need to start right now and cannot find the people, cannot find framers in particular right now. Having to search for for new subs, and everybody is so busy, it's just not easy. So it is a real problem. What I want to do is go back and try to dust off something that we talked about within the school foundation board, I guess about 8 years or so ago, about the time the recession was setting in, and we had a plan to try to help with this. Chester Melton used to teach the building trades program here at Isothermal. And the students would build, I think they worked on some habitat houses, and they'd build outbuildings and some other things. But Chester and I had talked about the need for there to be almost a project that students could have more real-world experience in. And so what we were going to do with the school foundation is to build a house. We were going to work with the 3 high schools and the students that they had in those classes learning the trades, and ICC was going to serve as a backup and an addition to that, because they had a construction trades program. We got taken out by the recession because we had a lender that was going to provide the financing to build this project. This is not a small project. It was close to $200,000. And the banks just really pulled back, and doing something like this was just really, really difficult. I think the time has come that we need to dust that off again. I've met with electricians, plumbers, trying to determine how much community support we can have if we try to bring this program back and get it started. And so it is a real problem. I do have some things I'd like to do to try to help with that, and I'm going to work on that whether I'm elected to the school board or not. I just thought it was interesting that it sort of dovetailed. Thank you.
Ms. Nanny, the same question. As a member of the school board, what will you do to promote education supporting the vocational and trade industries?
I have 2 siblings, a sister and a brother. My sister and I really enjoyed school. We really tried really hard to make good grades. We both went on to receive a college education. My little brother, there is an age difference between us. He's still a junior at East High School. He is very different from me and my sister. He does not enjoy school, and my parents are living on prayers to get him even through school, okay? So his goal in life is to become a tree logger. And college is out of the question for him. So I use my family as an example because it shows that every child has different pathways after high school, and it's important for Rutherford County to feed upon these dreams and these plans. Rutherford County schools currently have pathways right now. You can choose from a 4-year college, a 2-year college, or the workforce pathway. With our economy growing and flourishing, these trade jobs are coming more and more in demand. And so what I would like to do is I'd like to revamp the workforce program. My goal is for the students in the program to walk across stage with a high school diploma, a college certificate, and a job offer. I want their classroom education to be tailored around these trade jobs. They need to know the math and science behind these jobs. I also want them to have apprenticeships. I want the students to work in the field beside local businesses to learn what it takes to be successful in their career. I also want to partner with ICC to teach them the codes and ethics that takes behind these jobs. Through those partnerships, they can teach them the basics also. And I am confident in our representative and our senator that they will help me get these fundings to make this happen for us, because I have great working relationships with them. I believe if we can flourish these skills and interests in these children who choose this pathway by giving them the resources, then they can and will become successful. I want them to stay in Rutherford County to help utilize their skills to continue to grow our economy. Working alongside local businesses, I would love for that business to want to offer our students a career after graduation because they know they are prepared for the workforce. So let's revamp this pathway, make it flourish for these students, and I have the dedication to make that happen. Thank you.
Mr. Kelly, same question for you. As a member of the Board of Education, what will you do to promote education supporting the vocational and trade industries?
I think the question is, what will you do to promote it? That's the question that was basically asked. And to be perfectly honest with you, college is not meant for everybody. Everybody ain't going to college, so we might well get that in the head. But that we got to have people that got special skills, for as plumbers, electricians, carpenters. People got to work in these manufacturing facilities. So my feeling is that we do revamp, which we do have some programs already in place, like career technical program, the CTE program. We got agriculture programs in place, business financial technology programs in place, career management. We got automotive. We got several things at some of our high schools already in place. But our job is to basically look clearly at it and see if we can introduce some of these children to some of these programs. At my church some years ago, I took some of my tools and I took them over to the church and I laid them on a couple of tables and identified them, but I turned the thing over. But when I got to children, I asked them, could they identify the tools? They could not. So that bothers me. The industry I work at West Rock here in Forest City, which is a manufacturing facility. We got all type of machines like lasers and banders and plastic machines that we, duplicate plastic, a metal department. We got a wood department, which you very rarely find in a facility all three under one roof. So I understand the greater need for this because there's a greater need for each and every one of us to actually have a job. And I'm sort of like Brandon, I do want to see our children stay here in Rutherford County. It's a shame we don't have nothing in place for them that they have to go. So I just truly thank the school district. I thank the school system for implementing these things in place. As I just think about our school board and I think about the entire system as trying to put some things in place to help the children here in Rutherford County. It's a shame that they have to go 100 miles out of the way just to find a job. We should have these things right here in Rutherford County. And as Brett said, we are short. We're short of plumbers and electricians and people of that sort. So let's try to introduce some of these guys and girls whose intention is not to go to college, but to put them to work here in Rutherford County to make our county better. When you know your children, you know your children. But when you have everybody else moving in, you don't know, that creates a problem. So I'm all for, the trade.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Goshi, same question. As a member of the Board of Education, what will you do to promote education supporting the vocational and trade industries?
All right. In my opinion, Rutherford County Schools has three main goals or outcomes for our graduates. One would be to either enlist, two, to enroll, or three, for employment. Enlist would be obviously the military. We have great ROTC program at Central. Would love to see more of those programs come to our high schools if funding was available and the need and the desire for those students was there. Enroll. We have the McNair Foundation. We're turning out lots of college graduates, high school graduates, and then college entrants from our students through McNair. The mentor program that we do there has, and scholarship money that our kids are getting has been great for those kids. And then last, employ. So if the students are not wanting to enroll and the students are not wanting to enlist, what's next for them? One of the difficult things I face as a teacher is that under the two tracks for a high school diploma, Future Ready Core or Occupational Course of Study, which most kids would be Future Ready Core, you have to get 28 credits in. And so we are limited on how many courses kids can take. You have to have a fourth math and you have to have all these Englishes and stuff. And so it's imperative that we use their electives wisely, and so that when they take those things, they can get their credentials in our school system, like Microsoft Office and Word, CNA, the culinary program that ICC is fixing to open up at The Rock. All those different programs like that will allow our students, when they graduate, to at least have something that they can add to a resume that shows that they have some skills, that they're dedicated, that they put some extra effort possibly into taking these other tests outside of just the high school diploma, and then when it makes them more employable, and then a lot of those skills can be learned on the job site. With that being said, our community college connection there is imperative. They do a great job working with the Board of Education. We've got REACH here that is turning out kids with high school diplomas and two-year degrees at the same time. But we do need to focus on trade skills and things like that in the school system, to where when our kids come out and graduate with a high school diploma, that if they're not ready to enroll in the armed forces, or if they're not ready to enroll in college, that they have some skill set, some type of working knowledge where they can put together a resume, where they can make those connections and put phone calls together and reach out to those people and then make the right moves that they need to be successful. And they can do that with a slew of credentials that we offer. Our CET director, Dr. Charlie Freeman, is a phenomenal man. He's put together a lot of great programs for our school system. I'll be glad to answer any questions further after if anybody has anything. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to move on to our next question. Ms. Nanny, this one is going to come to you first. As a candidate for the school board, what do you feel are the most pressing issues our schools face, and what solutions would you propose to address these issues?
Thank you. Alexis, one of my daughters, plays travel softball. They played their first game of the fall ball season, and let me tell you, it was horrible. The girls did not perform well that whole entire Saturday. They lost 2 out of 3 games, barely winning the 3rd game. Come Monday, the coach sat them down and told them that they are better than that, than how they played on that tournament. He said, I expected more out of you. So let's get out there and redo our game plan and practice. Game 2, they dominated the competition, making it top seed of the gold bracket. Championship game, tied 1-1. Other team hit the ball, and error was made on our team, causing the other team to score. The girls came off the field crying because they played their hearts out. Their coach got a little emotional. They wanted to win so bad that it hurt that it didn't. Rutherford County schools are like a team. We had the best coaches and the best players that the county could ask for. It was game day the other day. Rutherford County schools report cards came out, resulting in mostly B's and C's. We came up average. Our administration and our teachers are better than this. So looking into other counties with the same demographics like Clay, Cherokee, and Graham, we came up short to them. We didn't take home the championship plaque. So what can we do about this? So my game plan is for our administration to partner with these counties and figure out what they're doing and utilize their game plans for our schools. I want our administration to work with our teachers and show them and make them practice these game plans and utilize them in the classrooms. I want our principals to be involved in the classrooms to give a report back to the administration on these game plans. I want our principals to have an open communication with our administration to help tweak these plans as they see necessary. I want each year for us to build upon these plans to make them better. I want our children to be provided with the best education and not settle for average. I went to school here. Some of my high school peers went on to work in Rutherford County schools. My children and my friends' children go to Rutherford County schools. And I know we have the best team. I want to work with our administration to make this plan successful because I believe in our team and I believe in Rutherford County schools.
Mr. Kelly, same question. What do you feel are the most pressing issues our schools face, and what solutions would you propose to address these issues?
I thought it was going to be Brett, but I put the thing over his face. Pressing issues. One of the most important things to me is school safety. That's one of the greatest issues that we are basically facing here in America right now. But I know that we haven't really had that much going on in Rutherford County school system, but I want to make sure it stay that way. To make sure that we are funded well, that we can find funding to put cameras in every one of our schools. We'll make sure that we have police officers in every one of our schools. I know we have them in the high school and the middle schools, but you know, my biggest thing right now is, and I don't know if we actually have nothing in place, is what if there was an active shooter here in the school system here? How would we respond? What would we do? You know, that's something that we need to really take in consideration for as a pressing issue. My other pressing issue is funding for special needs students. We got students that are in our school system that needs to be truly taken care of, that have special needs. I could imagine, I know about 40 years ago, I had a nephew that had a special need. He ended up, his mom moving to Morganton to go to school up there, and they had a few things in place for him, but I wonder about our students here in Rutherford County that have special needs. Are we taking care of them? I think we are. Could we do better? Yes, we could do better. So that's some of the pressing issues that I basically face. And I realized that we are eventually gonna build 2 new schools, Cliffside, school in Cliffside and RS Middle. I realize that. But make sure that these new schools are equipped with the safety features that needs to be in place. Because I'm very concerned about our students. I understand bullying and I understand all these things, but I do want to make sure that we have some things in place to make sure that our students stay.
Mr. Gosi, pressing issues and solutions.
All right. I picked 3 areas, not because any of those necessarily or we are not working on, but I think there's, like Ms. Edney said a little bit, that the sky, there's no limit to these as well. School safety, we continue to make great improvements and to put extra funding and extra resources into ensuring that our schools are safe. Our sheriff candidates talked the other night about SROs. We've added SROs into our elementary schools. We've built, over the last few years, walls. When you come into school, you probably notice you go through 3 or 4 buzz doors before you can enter the school. Earlier in the year, we put additional funding and money into school cameras across our campuses, things like that. We do need to continue to increase our funding as available, applying for grants. The General Assembly has allowed us the opportunity to do that with funding for school safety, so we're going to continue to work on that. Next would be just enrolling it all together, but one for me is increase our graduation rate. Rutherford County School is improving on that. Reduce our dropout rate, we're improving in that, and then improve our test scores. We're doing wonderful jobs in all 3 of those, but I know for our superintendent, myself as a board member, and our other board members and the teachers, we're not satisfied with any number, and that we always want to continue to improve the bar there. And then last but not least, I see Ms. Brawley back here in the back. I would like for Rutherford County Schools to continue to feed into the holistic approach to our children. What's going on in their families, what's going on in their minds and their situations that they might be dealing with there. We're increasing our school resource officers, we're increasing our social workers on campus. We've got backpacks going home with food. There's a lot of different things going on outside of the school system that our schools deal with, and I want to make sure that with the aid of the Rutherford County Educational Foundation, McNair, the school board, the teachers and churches, the community involvement, that we're continuing to make sure that our kids are not only safe in the school system and getting what they need, but they're taken care of home too, because that's important for us, because we can't educate successfully a child that's hungry or cold or worried about things going on at home. And so I hope we will continue, and hope you guys as community members will jump in on that and help us out with mentoring, donating food, or whatever other services you might can do. Get involved with us. We want you and we need your help. So I appreciate your involvement. Thank you.
Mr. Washburn, same question, pressing issues our schools face, and what solutions would you propose?
Well, when I first read it, the information they sent out, I thought they were going to ask for one problem. And I think, oh my gosh, how am I going to nail this down to one problem? And I couldn't. There are several things I wanted to mention. The first being me. I've got a lot to learn. We've got our county commission chairman, Brian King, here. We've got the vice chair, Alan Toney, here. We may have some other commissioners. I can tell you one of the best things that I learned is when you sit down in that seat, you've got a lot to learn. There's a lot of difference between the responsibility of talking about it and sitting in that seat and having to make the decisions. So that was also one of the things I enjoyed the most, and that's what I would intend to do again with the school board. School safety is absolutely critical. I don't want to say a lot about school safety because I don't know what the schools are doing right now. I don't know what the county commissioners have put in place. Don't know what the sheriff's department's put in place, but I'm satisfied that they're working on this. These are good people, and they have the same concern that we do. One of my pet peeves is broadband or lack of it. I saw Keith Hunter a while ago. He lives out the street from me, and he can probably feel my pain. You try to work at home, students try to do their homework at home, and they can't get access. It's not good. I don't have a great solution. Philip Morrow and I have talked about that, but it's a problem we need to work on. And then I think perhaps the greatest thing, and this speaks to part of what Brandon Gosey was saying, and that is, what do we do to engage our students that live in some of these difficult situations? How do we engage the parents? When you look at if you like to look at the grades for the schools, I mean, we've done a great job here in the county. But if you look at all that and you see the schools that don't have high poverty rates, their achievement levels are really, really high. The ones that have the challenges are the ones that have those children that have the challenges. And again, I don't have a solution for that. We've got teachers that have been dealing with this for years, and classroom sizes help. But when I meet with some of my mentees at the high school, so often they leave there, and I'm trying to think, how can I reach this kid? What can I do? And so most of mine, I don't have the solutions for. I have a willingness to work to solve those problems, and that's what I look forward to doing.
At this time, we're going to give each candidate 2 minutes for their closing remarks. Mr. Kelly, if you'll come on up, we'll do the closing remarks right here.
Once again, good evening. In my closing remarks, I would truly say it's been a blessing to be here tonight, and thank each and every one of you for coming out, and thank y'all for putting on such a great forum. There are a lot of things that are important to me. Children are sort of like Whitney Houston. Children are our future. So we've got to make sure that we take care of our children and teach our children the importance of what respect is. Teach them about respect and what respect means. I was talking to a gentleman today, and my thing is, in order to get respect, you got to give respect. So we got to be careful how we allow our children just to speak out and just say anything to our teachers, because we have some incredible teachers. At the school board that gets in the classroom, it's our teachers. It's our teachers that encourage our children to go on. I'm a mentor at East Rutherford High School and East Middle School, and I've been doing that for some years now. And I'm so grateful to know that I got an opportunity to reach some children. And that's my intent, is to reach as many children as I can. Because if we don't try to reach these children, we're going to have a bunch of chaotic kids. So you might as well get ready for it. You might as well get ready to put your buckles and your belts on so that we can all work together to make our school system better than what it is today. And I believe that we have a great school system. I believe we have like B's and C's on our report cards. But I like that letter A for some reason. And the letter A is where I want to get. Matter of fact, I want to get to the point where we got A pluses. I want to blow the state out of the roof and say, look what great educators that we have here in Rutherford County. And it comes through our teachers teaching. I'm a great advocate, and I'm a big advocate. I'm not a politician. I'm just an advocate for the Rutherford County students. Thank you.
Mr. Gosey, you have 2 minutes.
Again, thank you for being here tonight. It's been an honor to serve you, the community members, for the last 4 years, almost 4 years, on the Rutherford County Schools Board of Education. A couple of good things just in closing about Rutherford County Schools is that in 2017, last year, Rutherford County Schools went under an accreditation program through Advanced Ed. The end result of that was the highest score that organization, which grades schools statewide, nationally, and across the world, we received the highest score, the highest grade that they had ever given. Our test scores that you just seen reported that Mr. Washburn talked about, Dr. Sutton, the highest Rutherford County Schools has ever seen, ever reported. Our dropout rate We're getting better. We've made some good policies as board members over the last couple of years to change the dropout age rate to 18. I think there's nothing more important than keeping these kids, our kids, your kids, my kids, in school so that when they graduate, yeah, they may kick and scream going to school every day, but when they walk across that stage, there's that moment, that sparkle in the eye when they've done something special that they can take around for the rest of their life and make a difference. Rutherford County Schools has done a slew of great things. We have the Superintendent of the Year, the State Superintendent of the Year. That's not because of me. That's not because of anything special. That's because we have hardworking people leading our school system. Great leadership staff, great teachers, great families, great community members, and I'd love to continue working together with you guys to do that another 4 years, and I appreciate your vote November 6th. Thank you.
Mr. Washburn, you have 2 minutes.
In my opening, I said I believe in Rutherford County Schools, and if you don't remember anything else I say tonight, believe that and remember that. I don't know if it's an omen or not. We've got 2 Democrats, Mr. Kelly and myself, sitting here with a red microphone and the red cord coming across. And we've got the 2 Republicans here that are really nice people, and they're sitting here, and I don't know if it's just driving us crazy or you crazy, but, you know, it is inspiring to me because I honestly believe all these folks that we've got out here trying to divide us and make us angry at one another, we don't need to do that. We have a great ability to solve our problems, to work together, and that's what I want to try to do. I believe in the people of Rutherford County. They've worked hard over the years, and they've made the commitments with our school facilities so that our school facilities are the envy of systems across the state. Our technology plan is the envy of school systems across the state. It's so much more than computers. It's the ability to access information and educational opportunities. I believe in our administration because it's led by Dr. Janet Mason. She was recognized as the Superintendent of the Year in North Carolina. And I've watched her work. I've witnessed her passion and her sacrifice for the children and for the schools. If you just listen to her speak, you can't help but know that she believes in what she's doing. And I believe in our teachers, like Julie Pittman, who's the Region 8 Teacher of the Year. Carrie Early, I don't know how many of you may know her, but I watched a little girl that was worried about going to kindergarten, and Miss Early took her in her lap and started reading a book and took away all that fear. We have teachers in every one of our schools that do the same thing day after day after day. I believe in the McNair Foundation and all the mentors that volunteer in the McNair Foundation, and I believe in the Rutherford County School Foundation. And I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Thank you. I appreciate your opportunity to speak with you, and I hope to have your support on November 6th. Greg, that didn't last 2 minutes while I practiced it.
How many people in this room own an iPhone? Okay, now let's think about their company for a minute, Apple. They have one of the top most wanted products out there on the market. Now, why is that? It's because they know their consumers and they listen to them. They don't make excuses for their team. They know that each year they have to come up with a bigger and better product than the last. They have to produce the best product, or their consumers will purchase from other companies. They also have to produce the best product out there, or they will fail. Like iPhone is to Apple, our children's education is to Rutherford County Schools. We have to give them the best education out there in order for them to be the best. I am a proud product of Rutherford County Schools. It is my dream for my children to one day be proud to say they are a product of Rutherford County Schools. We are Rutherford County. We don't settle for anything less than the best because we deserve it. I appreciate your vote on November 6th because I am the best candidate for the District 1 seat for Board of Education. Again, my name is Brandy Nanny, and I appreciate everybody coming out here tonight.
Let's give all our candidates another hand. Now, if you'll help me welcome to the stage candidates for Clerk of Superior Court, Miss Regina Mapp and Mr. Steve Owens. Let's give them a hand. Miss Mapp, before you have a seat, if you'll come on up, we're going to give you 2 minutes for your opening remarks.
Is everybody ready? Everybody ready? Okay. My name is Regina Mapp. I'm the candidate, Democratic Party candidate for Clerk of Court. It says D, but I'm here to serve everybody. It doesn't matter about Democrat or Republican. So I was born and raised here in Rutherford County, right behind the Owl Stadium. I grew up there, and I have one child and one grandchild. Love them dearly. And I started at DSS here in Rutherford County back in '86, and then went to, got a divorce and went to Mecklenburg County, and I was on the child support court enforcement team. During those years here at DSS, I worked in all the income maintenance programs, caseworkers, food stamps, all those different programs. Then I retired from Buncombe County Health and Human Services in 2014 and moved back here. Went to work with the Rutherford County Clerk of Court. Mr. Owens hired me here. Thank you. And I came in as a temporary position and then was promoted to permanent, then transferred to Gaston County Clerk of Court. So I've been down there ever since. I've been commuting every day. I've learned a lot. I've learned how things are. I learned how things are here, and I've learned how things are there. I've learned how we can improve a lot of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mapp. Mr. Owens, you have 2 minutes. Come on up.
My name's Steve Owens, and I'm your current Clerk of Court. I was born in edge of Polk County. There's no center of Polk County. I came over, my mom and dad came over here, and we've been here ever since. I graduated high school in 1976 in RS Central. I came and then graduated from ICC and used those skills to get me the jobs that I had later. I went to work with Eckerd Drug Corporation. I went with them. I worked with them about 23 years and retired. While working for Eckerd Drug Corporation, my main job, give you a little bit more information, started working with them when I was in college. But one of the main jobs I had after the first few years, I was an assistant. I was their youngest assistant they'd ever had. Then as I became a manager, I was the youngest manager they'd ever had. And so anyway, I became their training manager. That was for all their stores in the Western District. So then I got to when I retired, got to know Keith Melton. Keith Melton hired me as a clerk. I've been there ever since 1998, so I've been in the judicial system ever since. Another thing, in being clerk, all different things you do is you learn something different every day. But me and my wife and family go to church over here at Cornerstone Fellowship. It's right down here off Hudlow. We've been members since 1998. Telling you that part is to tell you how the good Lord changes your life and changes things, and where your life used to be centered around money and things that it shouldn't be, and how God changes you, and once you realize that He's the center of everything and always should be, that changes how you look at things, how you deal with things, and just like Ms. Mapp said, how nothing else matters except doing the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. Now I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You'll have up to 3 minutes each to respond. Mr. Owens, we're going to start with you. How do you plan to balance your time providing customer service for the public, your colleagues, and your staff?
That in 3 minutes, okay. A lot of people do not realize what the clerk of court does. On an average basis, there are about between 700 on a normal day, and somewhere about 900 on a day when we have Superior Court, Criminal Court, Domestic Court, and I also have my courts that I have that's in whatever room I can find at the time. But coming through that door, you have everybody that's the domestic violence victims. You have people that are scared to death because they don't know where their children are going to go. They don't know if they're going to be taken away. So everybody that comes through that door is a different entity. Every one of them. Everything when they come in, we have domestic violence people that come in. They don't have their right amount of clothes on. Let's put it that way, because they've had to escape wherever they're at, and they come to us, and in our office we've got a special room in the back that's made for them. We've got extra clothes, so we have to deal with that. We have people that come in that are the victims of crime. Victims of crime could be anybody that has had a house broken into, or four-wheeler stolen, or somebody that's raped their youngest child, or has molested somebody, or they know somebody that's been murdered. We deal with everything up there. So in doing that, you have to assess each and every person that comes in the door. Nobody's the same. And in dealing with them, you can't treat everybody the same, because a domestic violence person you may be spending 30, 40 minutes with, or another person that's just wanting to find out where I go to get my license paid off for my ticket. And doing that takes about 30 seconds, and the clerks over in that department, they take care of them, and it goes on. So we do that day in and day out. But again, you just never know what's going to walk through that door, because when they do, you're taking care of them, and you treat everybody the same. That was my main thing. Treat everybody the same, whether they've got 2 nickels in their pocket or they're a millionaire. I do not care. Ask any of the clerks up there at the courthouse. That's what I preach to them. So they get preached to a lot, because that's the main thing. You do what's right. It's not always the easiest, but it's always the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Mapp, same question for you. How do you plan to balance your time providing customer service for the public, your colleagues, and the staff?
So I think the question is, how do I plan? So let me get that close. As a clerk, you do have to balance your time, because you do have your customers, and you have your colleagues, and you do have staff. So with just colleagues itself, I understand, maybe Mr. Owens can verify this. With colleagues, you normally have to go to Raleigh or different areas and for meetings. So I plan to have a calendar. I'm going to set up a calendar. And with that calendar, all the staff is going to be aware of where I am and how long I will be gone and how long it should be gone. It's important to meet with colleagues. It's important to learn new things. If you never travel and meet them, you don't know how other things are happening, and that will affect you in your courthouse. Customer service is very important. I'm going to be available. If they need to call and I'm not there, they can leave a message, and I'm going to return that call. They can send me an email, and I'm going to return the email. It's important. I'm elected by the residents of Rutherford County, and I need to be available, and I need to be accountable. And as far as staff goes, I intend to meet with the assistant clerks weekly, and that's how you keep abreast of things, and to meet with all staff on a quarterly basis, and with the other staff also knowing that they can meet with me anytime. then I'm always going to be available.
Ms. Mapp, we'll begin with you on this next question also. What is your vision for the position of clerk of court?
Okay. The vision for the clerk of court and how I envision it is that it is an elected position, so you need to be accountable for everything you do. Those files need to be set up correctly. They do not need to be mismanaged or lost. We need to treat everyone that comes in those doors as fair as possible. There should not be any difference between those that have. We shouldn't look up to the rich, nor look down to the poor. I will not tolerate that. There will not be a bell in the courthouse like it was when I worked there, that when someone came in and asked a question and the clerks thought it was stupid, they ring the bell and their clerk response would be, "You just can't fix stupid." That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable in this county, and it shouldn't be in any county. There should not be a minor child who is not employed be allowed to key any information into the system, which has happened. So if you didn't hear me, there should not be any minor, a minor being, didn't even have driver's license, able to key defendants' information into systems. That's wrong, and it should never happen. And I have corroborated information and verification to that. This is not just something that I'm saying. This is something that we all witnessed. But if you're afraid, then you say nothing. I'm not afraid.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, same question. What is your vision for the position of clerk of court?
Well, as I've said many times, the whole operation as a clerk of court is run as a business. And as I stated before, when working as a training manager for records, the whole thing was about customer service. And Ms. Mapp is correct. I found out about an individual that had a bell that she rang. I can say that that individual, after I found that out, she no longer works for us. She worked about 90 days thereafter that I was working with AOC on how to remedy that situation, but nor does she work in any aspect of the state. As to I think what she's also asking about individuals that I help, our office has helped 9 individuals that are helping with McNair Foundation and New Century Scholars. New Century Scholars, I checked with AOC, and there is no limit. They can start as early as the 6th grade. So when you check, you need to check on that, because that's the statutes, that's the laws. And the reason why they start out that early is because they want them started out early. They know we need help, and they want to help these kids to learn and come up and get hours in New Century Scholars and also into the McNair Foundation. I've had some that got up to 300 hours in doing so, and that has been approved by AOC. But back to my vision is not only make and to keep doing the same thing. I've got another lady that started today, as a matter of fact, doing that. But the vision is to have everyone treated the same, no matter who they are, what they are, don't care. But we have to keep running our office as a business. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican. I don't care if what your religious beliefs are, or if you don't have religious beliefs. If you're an atheist, you got more faith than I have. But I don't care. I have a job to do. That job is to follow the Constitution and the laws of North Carolina. And in those laws of North Carolina, in those statutes, it also addresses what Ms. Mapp said. And one of those persons that she talked about had been there a while, And that's the reason why I had to do the steps that I did. And I took care of it, and I took care of it the right way.
Thanks, sir. You'll each have now 2 minutes for your closing remarks. Mr. Owens, if you'll come on up, you have 2 minutes, sir.
I've got some numbers because I truly think that a lot of people don't exactly know what all the clerk of court does. So I'm going to run some numbers by you really quick. Okay, we got audited 6 months after I came into office. On that audit, there was a couple things that they found. One thing that they found, and I also have a letter here from the North Carolina Clerk of Court Association that would have brought that, where some people had could get into the systems. Those people weren't into the systems, so they came back and gave us that point. Also, we just got audited. I have that audit here. Auditor stayed with us not 2 days, not 3 days like before. They stayed a whole week. He found 2 items. The 2 items that we found, one we didn't know about. Also, the auditor let us know that was being sent out in the next email, and they would email them from now on. Also, we have to keep everything correct. What that means is we go down to the penny. So I'm a conservative. I don't care if you call me Republican or what, I'm a conservative. Here's what I've done. Our office takes care of $1.55 million every day of the week. First thing I did, I had security go with someone to the bank, because our normal average deposit, common mass, about $67,000, so somebody better go to the bank with you. As far as the destruction of the books and stuff of that nature, that's up to the clerk, rules of record keeping. We sent over 310 boxes, and each of those boxes holding over 5,000 sheets of paper each the first year. Passports, we started out with 672. We're now doing over 1,000. Things that we've saved money on is doing paperwork correctly. Used to, when the paperwork was not getting done correctly and sent to the jail, it was costing the state money. We've saved them over $20,000.
Ms. Matt, come on up. You have 2 minutes, ma'am.
I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I want to thank you for having this forum, because it's needed. It's needed to bring awareness to Rutherford County residents. A couple of things that my opponent said, the McNair Foundation and having the young children come in to assist is okayed by the state. You know, they do things like filing and things that are things that you don't have to be employed there to do. But when I speak of entering the information in the system, I'm speaking of if you are employed. Someone had to go into the system to open that system to allow that minor child to enter. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the community hours that they are allowed to take. That's important. There are time standards that are the state recommends for us to do our jobs, and we need to do that. Those things are provided. The positions, the number of positions are provided based on what the cases look like. Audits are wonderful. They help us learn. But once they're done, we should learn and do. There should not have to be corrective actions done. I'm running because I see the problems at the courthouse. I'm not running for anything else. There needs to be a change. Rutherford County needs to progress. The files need to be improved. There needs to be things done on microfilm that are not done. We need to progress, just like our young children in our schools are learning, and they're progressing. We need that. That's all part of the economy here. Let's make Rutherford County what it can be. Thank you.
Let's give both candidates a big hand. Now help me welcome to the stage candidates for North Carolina State Senate District 47, Mr. Ralph Heiss and Mr. David Wheeler. Let's give them a hand. So gentlemen, we'll do just like we have all throughout the evening. Mr. Heiss, we're going to begin with you. You have 2 minutes up at the podium for your opening remarks.
Thank you. Let me begin by thanking the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce, Isothermal Community College, and Leadership Rutherford for putting this event on and making sure that their questions are before us as candidates. I've had the privilege now to serve in the North Carolina Senate for 8 years. Before that, I served in 2 terms as the mayor of the town of Spruce Pine. When I was elected, I was the youngest member of the North Carolina Senate. And over those 8 years, I've developed a record that I'm proud of. We began in my first term as office, passing a marriage amendment in the state of North Carolina and defining in the North Carolina Constitution that the marriage between one man and one woman is the only legally recognized union in the nation. And regardless of what the Supreme Court says, that's still part of our Constitution in this state. We faced a tremendous problem with the state budget, a $2.5 billion shortfall. We not only tackled and balanced that shortfall, but we did it while cutting the personal income tax rate, cutting the corporate tax rate, and cutting the sales tax rate. And in the end, we built a $2 billion surplus so that when North Carolina was hit by the largest storm in its history, we were able to go to our fund balance to make an $800 million appropriation to rebuild this state. That's the beginning of the record I will stand on. That is the record I am proud of, and it has been an honor to serve you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Trespassing Wheeler. Nice to meet y'all. I'm from Mitchell County, proud Mitchell County guy. Just so you know, those charges were dropped, and the Attorney General thought they were pretty ridiculous. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. I'm proud to be a North Carolina candidate for state senate. I deeply love this state. I love my country, and I'm not your typical Democrat. Ralph Heiss is probably going to talk to you about an October surprise, which we're going to talk about one way or another. But I am pro Second Amendment. You ever hear that from a Democrat? I'm personally against abortion. You ever hear that from a Democrat? And you know what? I'm a proud Christian. And we're going to talk about it. So I'm not your typical Democrat. I'd like everybody to open their eyes a little bit and listen with an open heart like we're taught, right? Let's think about this county over party. My party's not doing anything for me, so I'm hardly going to carry their bucket when I'm in Raleigh. But I want to talk tonight about some pretty important things. I'm accountable to you. I'm accountable this evening. If I don't answer a question, see me afterwards and tell me. I'm also accountable to my kids and my family and my country. Senator Heiss is also accountable. He was paid for 34 days in the month of February. He also took $10,000, for which he's being investigated, out of his campaign funds. He has not talked about it. He won't tell us what the status is. He has recently said he's going to be referred out to the DA. Don't you think you want to know that before you vote for him?
Okay, gentlemen, we'll have a couple questions for both of you. Have up to 3 minutes to answer those. Mr. Wheeler, we will begin with you. Speak to the direction our education system is headed in terms of funding and the impact this has on public schools, including charter schools, community colleges, teachers and instructors in private schools.
Okay, thank you. I'm a product of public schools. Grew up in public schools, K through 12. I went to public college as well. So I'm a big fan of funding public education, and I think I came from a state, Iowa. I grew up in Iowa. I've been here for about 8 years. I think it takes, 6 generations before you're actually from here, but hopefully soon I'll be seen as from here. And I think the thing that's most shocking to me is this is an anti-education legislature. Look at what they do. They claim to have raised teacher pay, but we all know, and ask any teacher, they didn't get a raise. We haven't had a school bond in 22 years, so we push all the cost onto the county. I mean, ask Brian and some of the other commissioners that are in here tonight how they feel about that. Let's also talk about school safety. Where are we on that, Senator? I don't think we've had a bill pass that's pushed any funding. Are there any more security officers in schools? I don't think so. So I think, again, let's hold the senator accountable. Again, I'm accountable this evening. Let's hold the senator accountable for the lack of focus on education. The senator also wasn't aware there are 2 great charter schools in this county. We were at a forum a couple of weeks ago, and he said we don't have any charter schools. Well, I've been to the one in Lake Lure, and they should be darn proud of that, and I've driven by the one over here at Thomas Jefferson, and that's a darn good school too, from what I've been told. But if you send me to Raleigh, education is primary. Because if we don't teach our kids, and kids in private schools and in charter schools, in homeschool, I don't have a problem with that. If we're not teaching them, what does that say about us as a society? What does that say about us as our priorities? My priority is to get kids educated. It's not tax cuts for the rich folks. It's not partisan bickering in Raleigh. What has Raleigh actually done in the last, I don't know, year, Senator? They haven't done anything except go to court. They've employed, I don't know what the legal fees are. The senator certainly knows. At this point, what are the legal fees that the lawyers are making? I'm sure the Bar Association is happy about it, but I'm sure not as a taxpayer and a parent. Our schools in Mitchell County are falling apart, from which the senator and I both come from. So it's about priorities, and I will focus on education, folks.
Mr. High, same question for you. Speak to the direction our education system is headed in terms of funding and the impact this has on public schools, including our charter schools, community colleges, teachers, and instructors in private schools.
Thank you, and I'll actually try to respond to your question. One of the things I've actually learned in education is there is no one answer. That's what coming in. I've taught at the university level, I've taught at the community college level. Each student is different. And when we try to put everyone in a one-size-fits-all public education system, there are children we quite frankly leave behind. That's why we've worked on expanding the number of charter schools here in this state. But no, even though we have some great charter schools, we're not done. As I said before, Madison and Yancey and Mitchell County in this district still have no options for a charter school within their district. While we've lifted the cap, we've got to work on funding mechanisms to make sure students have multiple options for their educational needs. For private students, we've actually offered opportunity scholarships, high-level scholarships for students with disabilities whose needs aren't being met at the public schools, to be able to go to other places, and for low-income students to have a choice at a private education. At the same time, we've continued to fund public education. We've had the largest growth in teacher salary in the last 2 years in the nation. But they say we've done nothing. That's the kind of thing we fight against unions and candidates. They say we do nothing for these educations. Education is the #1 budget item in the state of North Carolina every year. It is our highest growth areas in state government, and we continue to work to better it. We continue to focus on early literacy. You know, statistics will tell you the best predictor of a child's success is 3rd grade reading levels. That's why we've added additional teachers' assistants, lowered class sizes K through 3, and began a Read to Achieve program to make sure that students can read at the 3rd grade level. That has been the major focus of K-12 education. That's why we worked on passing the bond in the state for the university system and the community college system that so many of you here came out and supported, to put billions of investments into our education system. We are an education state. We do fight for education. We don't fight for the unions that run education. He's going to say, well, there is no union in North Carolina. Every member of the NCAE is required to be a member of the NEA, which is a national union and is identified as a national union. But we're going to fight. You want to really make them mad, take away their ability to collect dues. That's what they really care about, not students and not individuals. But education has always been our top priority focus. So what is the vision? It is for a multifaceted system that looks at each student individually and what they need to grow and to succeed, and not what fits them into the walls of a grade level or an achievement level, but make sure that each student can progress and we hold them accountable for the results.
Thank you. Mr. Heiss, you know there are 6 amendments to the North Carolina Constitution on the ballot next month. What is your position on these proposed amendments?
Well, thank you. I'll try to go through these quickly. There are 6. I'll begin with voter ID. There is no better way to defend your ballot at the box from being canceled by someone who is voting fraudulently, an illegal alien voting, or someone who is not eligible to vote from another state than to require a state-issued ID to be presented at the time of voting. Secondly, the Bipartisan Board of Election. I've probably seen more in the last few weeks of how they've tried to weaponize this election and go after candidates and throw October surprises in and coordinate with individuals to put the green billboards up all over the district and coordinate with campaigns. We look to take that out of the Board of Elections and make sure with a bipartisan board that you will need both Republicans and Democrats to be able to work together to begin investigations and not have it weaponized by whatever party happened to be in power. The right to hunt and fish in North Carolina. We have municipalities right now that are working on enacting legislation that prohibits the discharge of firearms within the city limits or prohibits individuals from being able to hunt or fish within the city limits, particularly hunting. This constitutional amendment will prohibit municipalities and counties from banning either of those activities and destroying our heritage that's associated with them. The tax rate in North Carolina. Right now, we have cut the corporate income tax rate. It will be at 5.25%. But our state constitution says that no rate can be charged higher than 10%. This amendment would lower that 10% to a 7% threshold that will lock in that when things turn bad, if Democrats come out there, they can't go after more of your money in the state of North Carolina. There is tons of room in between where we're at 5.25 and hopefully where we're going at 0 that we ever need to worry about a 7% rate. There's no disaster or others that 7% couldn't fund, but we're going to take away that frivolous tax increases from the legislature and put that protection in place. Marsy's Law. Right now, victims in the state of North Carolina of many misdemeanors and others can't find out when individuals are released from prison, when they are transferred between prison, or quite frankly, at times when cases are held and have the ability to speak. This would put for the victims of crimes, not only the crimes where it currently exists, but extend it to property crimes and others, that if you were the victim of a crime, you have the right to stand before that judge at the trial and speak. When that individual is transferred between facilities and you're worried about your own safety, you have to be notified by the state of North Carolina. And when that individual is up for release or released as the victim of the crime, you will be notified. This will place that protection in ours. And finally, judicial selection. Right now, every vacancy in the state of North Carolina, over a 4-year term, it's about 1 out of every 5 judicial seats, is filled solely by the governor. This will change that process and give individuals an actual participation.
Mr. Wheeler, what is your position on these proposed amendments?
Well, the author of some of them is in the room. I think we should hold him accountable for the process that they were done. They were done in the dark. A lot of folks weren't consulted about these, were they, Senator? I would vote no on all 6 of them. Not because I'm not, I have a A rating from the NRA. So you're not going to tag me with I'm anti-gun, Ralph. I want to talk about a couple other things that you said, Senator. You just said that all teachers that are a member of the North Carolina State Education Association don't care about kids. They only care about money. I don't know how many, maybe you should meet some teachers once in a while, Senator. I've met teachers and they care deeply about students. They don't? Why are you laughing? You said they don't care. They care more about money. And it's interesting, you blame everything on the Democrats, Senator. You've been in control for the last 8 years, my friend. And the other thing that folks don't realize is Ralph Heisz grew up a Democrat. His mother was a big Democrat until he decided to run for the Spruce Pine mayor's office. And he switched his registration 10 years ago. So I would question what he says. He's trying to manipulate you into voting for you again. He's going to go there on abortion. He's going to go there on gay rights. And then what do they go to Raleigh and do? They don't do anything. He hasn't passed any bills in Raleigh to, what about fetal heartbeat, Senator? Why haven't you introduced that law? I'm going to introduce it. See where it gets? You haven't. So the point is, guys, why would we give the legislature a blank check on this? Because the bills as they're written, or the constitutional amendments as they're written, the legislature gets to finish the language on all of them. Do you trust them to finish them the way we want them? I don't think so. So in answer to your question, I'm against all 6 of the amendments. In principle, I'm for some of the ideas around them, but I think it was done the wrong way, done by the wrong folks. And if I'm your senator, any of those games start getting pulled by the Democrats, I'll change parties or I'll go in unaffiliated. Because I'm not going to put up with the nonsense that you all have to put up with in this county with the word of faith and with other folks and the corruption that is starting to seep into this county. And you all know what I'm talking about.
Okay, at this time, each candidate will have up to 2 minutes for their closing remarks. Mr. Wheeler, you're up. Come on up.
So, all right, I'll get off my high horse, and I'm not going to yell at you. Unlike my opponent, he loves to yell. He thinks that means he's more forceful or he's more powerful. Well, that's not the case at all. I'm a deep Jesus-loving Christian. I care about this country. I care about this state. I love the people in this room, even the members of the Word of Faith that are here tonight. I love them. I just don't think the way the senator comports himself with the Word of Faith in this county, taking their money, going to their services, I don't think that's right. We all know it's a cult. It's not a church. So what I'm telling you is, you elect David Wheeler. I'm going to help the sheriff clean up this place. I'm going to give the DA some cash, some budget to prosecute folks. And there's not going to be a lot of nonsense that's been going on lately. So I'd like to ask for your vote. I am deeply humbled by this process. I've got to know this county very, very well. I got to know the inside of the courtroom for a couple days. And that was a good experience because I saw what's going on in this county as well. And there are a lot of problems that need help. I'm also going to hold 2 town halls per year per county. I think it's important that we open up communications. The senator's never held a town hall in his entire career in the Senate. Can you believe that? No interaction with folks. The only interaction he has really is online. He'll block you or delete a remark he doesn't like. So I would appreciate your vote. There's a lot more to me and my campaign that you can find out at wheelernc.com. My time's up. Thanks. Have a good night.
Mr. Tice, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you all for coming out this evening. You know, I hope I respected your forum by actually responding to the questions that you asked and giving you that information. You know, this has been a crazy campaign. It's been full of a lot of lies and accusations. You know, it began with someone coming in as a Senate candidate and saying they're going to shut down a church. They're going to tear it apart.
That's not what I said.
Can you imagine an America where an elected official has that authority? Where an elected official makes those kind of judgments about members of his community and who he is? You know, I'm going to stand for individuals to be able to express themselves and to worship God in the manner in which they see fit. That's my role. That's when you take the oath to the Constitution, that's what you believe to stand for. I've ran a campaign where I believe that I will tell you where I stand on issues. I will tell you what I believe. I will tell you what my faith is. And if you elect me, I will go to Raleigh with an unbending support and stance that doesn't stick my finger in the wind and say who's saying what today and what issue can I work into a community and see where I can uproot and cause trouble and problems. I go to Raleigh and I stand. I don't change my position, I don't change my views because I wasn't elected to change my position and change my views. It has been an honor to serve over these last 8 years. While we continue to go through many struggles, as I have them both personally and through this campaign, I am most proud to be in a district where when I walk through the grocery store and others, the number one comment I get when people come up to me is that they are praying for me. And I want to thank you for that prayer. And I want to tell you that I will lift this district up before God each and every day as I continue to do. And I thank you for your support.
Let's give both these candidates a big hand. And also another hand for all the other candidates that were here tonight. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce of Rutherford County and Leadership Rutherford, we thank you for coming out tonight and being involved in this process. Hope you have a great evening. Good night.